I'm gonna get some stairs. Tana, do we have anybody over Zoom?
Say that again.
Do we have anybody attending over Zoom?
They left, so no.
Okay.
Not my place. Don't take it personally.
I won't take it personally. They left before you talked. Alright, you guys, I'm gonna ask a favor, if you could kind of sit across from each other, that would be amazing, just take your stuff and. Come on over, Clark. You know, because you see, there might be some guns in front of you, you need someone to aim at. I can aim at a mom and a bear. You have to see exactly, you have to be able to like shoot 3 against 1, Clark.
I'm in.
Yeah, you are just chill.
I got 3 guns.
Alright, I'm just gonna roll with it. It's just when you're ready.
Yes, I will get that up right now. I apologize.
Because I worry Clark's gonna hit my coffee.
Yes, move your cup.
No.
Okay, okay.
You know, I left my house with my kid thinking I'd get away from her.
No. Years.
These aren't Nerf.
No, they're crappy dollars for
They're-
dirt.
So
We were doing it.
It's mine, actually.
I don't even know.
All right, here we go.
Why does he have 3 guns?
That's my laptop. I have armor.
I'm sure you have a whiteboard too.
Well, you're loading it up. I was gonna.
What are we doing? It's not coming up till later, so you have a minute to relax and relax.
Oh, there's no relax.
Clark is locked and loaded. Yes.
I learned, oh, my son. Yeah, hey, that's what I'm saying. It's called the Dollar Tree, baby. Dollar store. They're called Fleur, thank her.
That would be awesome if they were.
You might end up just taking a dart and throwing it at the person. And my whiteboard marker. Oh, gosh. Because I'd love it to be collaborative.
You just have to,
you know, create a line and then I'll speak freely.
That's the
Whatever.
lineup.
So click it first. Like,
You know,
and then.
fix the trigger.
So pull the trigger once.
And then stick it in. And then there's a little crossway.
Yeah, that's I don't think.
Sorry, you guys, I really should have tested for me before.
It's okay.
We're just gonna roll with it.
Alright,
Here we go.
All right.
Alright. Who met their goals in Q1?
Not it.
No. Anybody wanna talk about that? No.
I would say my Q1 was better than last year's Q1,
There we go.
but it wasn't my goal.
That's it. Okay, but you're heading in the direction of your goal.
Yeah, my Q2 will be better, yeah.
There we go. I think that's what I really want all of us to absorb today is that we have these goals, right? What happens in Q4, like towards November and December? How are you feeling typically? Completely overwhelmed.
By then you've given up and you're working on next year.
So when do you really get hyped up? January?
Q2. Oh. Hyped up?
Like what happens to you in January is what I'm asking?
I go on vacation. Sorry.
No, everybody's different.
Yeah, you start getting super excited about all of your goals and the thought of how it will be and feel and everything, if you can meet those goals.
Yeah.
To you.
I don't know how you guys are, that's why I love like the open discussion to see like what the difference is, but typically for me, when I get to December, I'm looking at the year and I'm like, this is how I know I feel successful and I have peace, if I did better than I did the year before. For me, my goal is to double my income every year. If I double my income, I feel good. And there's always a goal beyond that, right? And I never am meeting that impossible goal that I set for myself, but as long as I'm heading in the trajectory, right? And I don't know, is anyone in here the same as me where you get kind of hard on yourself? Where you're like, I didn't do this, I didn't do that, like you beat yourself up, right? Well, what does that do for our systems? What does that do for us overall as human beings?
Shut down.
Right. And so what I'm offering is that as we go through life, as we go through the quarters, as we go through the system, the seasons, as we go through the years, that we learn to adapt practices, tools in our tool belt that help us not just accomplish the revenue goal, the income goal, the production goal, but also we're meeting the goals of how is our life? What does it feel like? Do we have peace? Do we have joy? Do we have adventure? Do we have fun? Do we have successful relationships? Do we like ourselves? Are we enjoying our lives? Because at the end of the day, we don't know if we have tomorrow. We have today. This is it. And what do you want this day to be like? And sometimes life requires that this day is survival mode. How many of you had like survival mode where you were like, there are no options. I do not feel like I have the luxury on this day to employ any of these silly little tools that Nikki's gonna talk about today. Nikki, you do not understand my life. So I've been in those times where it was getting up at 2 AM, riding a bicycle to an industrial building to clean it and scrub the toilets of gross oil field workers, right? And then going home and changing my clothes and walking to my real estate office and all day long, and then going home and changing my clothes and going and hosting mermaid parties, right? Survival. But how do we find the moments in between that help us keep our nervous systems regulated? That they keep us in a system of health, right? And that we find some joy, we find some purpose, we find some moments to like be present with ourselves, to build and nurture our relationships, right? And what that does is it enables us to have that energy to create more business, more beautiful things in our life, right? So remember, as we're talking about things today, they're not gonna work all the time, but they can work most of the time. What is that? Do you guys remember? We talk about it all the time, but what is the 80-20 rule that everyone talks about in real estate? What is it?
20% of the people do 80% of the work, or 20% of the problems come from, or 80% of the problems come from 20% of people.
There's multiple
Yeah.
80-20 rules, and one of them that consists with just the individual person, you as a human realtor, is that 20% of what you do brings you 80% of your business. So it's about also identifying where are you burning energy, where are you wasting time, and where are you freaking moving the needle? And how to identify that, right? And do more of that and let the rest go. Just let it go. So we're going to talk about today a little bit. Miss Jessica, will you go to slide 2?
I
please?
sure will. You bet.
So this is one of the things that I learned from Miss Brooke Castillo. I love this. It's so simple. You guys probably all do it, but let's just go over it together. It's the Monday morning brain dump. And you can do this on Sunday night if you want. I think you play around with what works best for you. But what I do is Monday morning early, all the things that are floating around in my brain, all the to-do lists.
Sorry, guys, I just need to share this screen really fast, Nick, and then. I know, I'm sorry.
Down all.
There we go.
Thoughts, your to-do list, get them down on paper. They don't need to make sense. They don't need to be written neatly. Just brain dump, brain dump, brain dump, brain dump. Okay? Then transfer to a different piece of paper. You want a green paper. You can get a marker and do it, or you can just put green light. Green light means it's energy giving, it makes money, and only you can do it. So take the things from your brain dump, right? Pick those items on that list, all the things you're worried about doing. Which of those things are energy giving, money making, and only you can do? Put them on the green paper. This is the green light to-do list, all right? Another piece of paper is your yellow light. This is neutral. It's energy neutral. It doesn't feel like it really gives you energy, and it doesn't take it away. The routine, mundane tasks that have to be done no matter what, but they can also be delegated. It's not necessary that you do them. Your third sheet is your energy drain. These are tasks that you seek to avoid, you stress about, or you do out of guilt. You guys tell me right now, I'm gonna write these down. Tell me some things that are energy draining, that's like weighing on you right now. It's in your brain, tasks you avoid, you stress about, or you do out of guilt. Jen.
Calling my seller that they need to do a price reduction. The listing is just sitting there.
Popeyes. Tell me more about Popeyes. Do they drain your energy? Why do you put them in that list?
Because you just feel like, okay, this is gonna be silly, I'm gonna walk into a business and they're just gonna be like, really? Flower seeds, sunscreen, and I just do it, I just say, I'm just going to go do it. I don't have control over their response.
But it's in that thing that you're like, oh, I don't really do it, because you have a belief system about it. Your belief system tells you what?
It's gonna be silly.
Like they're gonna think it's dumb.
Yeah, you just, and then I think, you know what? I don't know what they're gonna think, let's go find out, right? And then you get positive feedback, you're like, that's a great idea, I'll do it next time.
Have you ever seen that it brings you business from doing them? Popeyes,
Or does it bring connections and some?
connections, networking,
Yeah,
conversations.
it will lead to deals. Exactly.
Okay, then that might be one that.
And I put it on professional, that it's professional, it's fine, it's great.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a lender that does that with chips and salsa. She goes to every police station, fire department, and walks in there and is like, I brought this for you, here's my card, let me know if you ever need anything. They call her all the time.
So maybe that one goes on the green list under money making. And maybe it doesn't, and it might be different for everybody. Popeyes for one person might be on the money making list, right? And Popeyes for another person might be in the red. They might be energy draining and you're like, nope, I don't see anything coming from this. That's to be determined by you.
Right.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Give me some more things so we can talk about those. I love workshopping them. Hey, so that, where do we put that? It's in your head. It's on the list. You gotta do it.
about,
That's right.
and you avoid it.
Uh-huh.
I wait until the very last day.
August
Me
30th.
too.
Oh, you too.
I know, I'm always like, cause I'm on like charity company, they're always like, who's paid their dues? And I'm like, not me.
I think it's one of those things that like probably sits for most of us back in that place of like, oh shoot, I've gotta do this, or I can't do my job, I can't make money. But it's a stress, I have to come up with the money to do it, so it probably does expend a lot of energy.
I just looked at my phone and saw the text, so I was like.
You're like, I don't have to do.
Your Mustang's
Forgot
waiting
about
for
that.
you.
Yeah.
Mark, what do you do when you have dues and they're like taking up energy?
When I have dues,
Money to pay.
It's like
Oh.
I've never.
it is, if I have a closing coming up, then I'll earmark some of that. If not, then I sometimes, just eat the late fee until I can.
Right.
I
It's
mean,
about prioritizing and saying, what can I do and what can I not do, right? So I think you have to ask yourself, if it is required that I pay my dues to do my job, it's got to go in that green category, right? It's money making.
and, I think that's the thing is, especially with new agents. And they've only been in for a year or 2 years, and they're wondering if this isn't working, is this their exit road?
Right.
So they're getting to that calendar point and going, well, I guess I just won't, but I determined this is my career, and so even if I don't have it yet, then I'll figure out where and when and how, because you're right, it is in the green, this is facilitating my life.
Right, so that's the difference I want you guys to hear. There are those things that are money making, right? Only you can do them. They're critical to your business, to your life, but they sit back there and they take up energy and space because we have a belief system about them, or we feel like there's something limiting us in some way, keeping us from doing them. We need to get used to not putting them there in the red because they're uncomfortable. We put them in the green and we learn to choose power over them. We're going to learn ways to be resourceful, innovative, and attack them like a powerful entrepreneur tackles those things. Does that make sense? So then we can start to work on mind shifts, ladder work to get there. But for right now, let's put paying dues under green because it is money making. What are some other things sitting in your brains? Like, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta do that.
Non-real estate related, it's clean my garage.
I love that sits there. We're not just talking real estate, we're talking about all the things that sit in your brain.
Laundry.
Clean my garage,
Laundry
my
just sits and waits till I get home.
garage. Okay, clean your garage. Clark, where would you put that?
Right now it lives in red for sure. it's always just haunting me.
Haunting you every time you walk into it.
And I never have time to, or the energy and the motivation to go do it. I might tinker around for 20 minutes and put away a thing or throw something away, but yeah, and I know, like I've already calculated that if I will organize all the stuff in my garage, it will save me 30% of my time
Wow.
on everything I do.
Wow. And it will save you
Wow.
money.
Because I'm always
you don't
looking for all
buy
these-
new things.
Yeah, I'm looking for all these tools that I wanna,
Have
you
you
know.
thought of paying someone delegate?
No, I don't trust anybody with that. I'm thinking my kids because they're terrible at all that.
Yeah, that's another thing that we tend to do as if we're type A perfectionists, right? When someone says, well, why didn't you have someone do that? Delegate it. Your brain goes, no. No one can do it the way I want it done, right? And so you have to get really resourceful and go about, how am I going to make sure that I hire someone to do this and they're gonna do it the way I want them to do it, or as close to possible, so that they're accomplishing this goal for me. You guys, there's so much science around an organized space. About, like, if you wanna study it, like, just look anything up on sacred geometry or architecture in ancient times and why they built and organized buildings the way they did, because it literally creates a vibration of frequency of abundance. Love that, Clark. Who else has something?
Laundry, my husband's colorblind, so it sits in wigs. And he's not allowed in the laundry room.
I was gonna say that too, cause it's like, I know I can look at all the things, I do by bedroom, because it makes it a lot easier, you're not gonna mix up. Who's both in which room, but it's like, I can look at it and know, this goes in the delicates,
Yes.
I know to
Yeah.
put shirts inside out.
And
and
only
things like
whites
on
in the
them.
whites,
Yeah,
not
only
a
whites
red
and whites.
sock in the whites, and everything comes out pink.
Yeah, and all this stuff, and every time that I thought, well, by the time I was in sixth grade, I was doing all my own laundry. So I have two kids that are old enough. But like my husband says, don't trust me, I can do it, but I've seen him do laundry. And I know that my way saves money because the clothes don't get ruined, the shorts don't get shrunk. You know, it's like, I know the way to do them, so I can sit down here and do it. Every time I've started to explain it to any of my boys, my husband's like, they're not gonna grasp everything you're saying, they're just gonna shut you off. Cause they don't even know all that. I'm like, well, they do need that. So it's like every time I try to teach them to do something, it's like, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So I can't delegate it, or at least I feel like I can't delegate it.
Yeah.
Cause it'll cost me more money in the long run.
They're
than
all-
if I-
And this creates so much expenditure of energy, right? Jen, what was the thing that we learned in EOS about how many times we have to teach someone before they finally start?
You have to say the same thing 7 times.
7 times, right?
And that's if they're an average rep learner as a teacher,
Right,
so
so
some people are double that, some are half that.
Some are 99 times.
Some,
Yeah,
like, it
yeah.
takes X amount of reps for your brain to
Get it
actually
in your
put it
neural.
in the drawer and save it, and so some are 25, 30 reps, and then some are 2, and then
Well, I
at
have
least
4
down the
separate
middle.
campers, so here's the lights, and a colorblind husband, he's like, okay, I'll just put the darks in with the pastels, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you walk out of the line as fast as possible.
Right. So I think it's about finding a balance of getting really creative and resourceful, and how am I gonna create these systems in my household? How am I going to hold all of us accountable, and how am I gonna let go of some of that? It has to be perfect, right? Because let's just get down to the point, sometimes B minus work is better than the work not getting done at all.
Yeah.
Right? And then it's about making small incremental improvements over time, but really being aware of where your energy is going is critical. Is there anything else we want to like talk about and put on a list so everybody can hear it out loud? Are there anything real estate related that you guys can think of? That just sits in your brain week to week to week? Clark?
Building a CRM.
Dude, that's mine. It's mine.
That's a lot of people.
Filling out your database, like all.
Yeah.
Putting all your database in, putting their birthdays, anniversaries, when did they buy their house, setting up the email to their families. I'm about to go with the only one, because to this day, still have not done that. Yeah. What if we got creative and we all hired like a VA off of Fiverr, and we told this person, this is what we all want set up, right? And if we all went out and paid them, or on your own, you go to Fiverr, right? But there's ways, we can find ways, it's just about saying, what is important, what is critical, what is really gonna drive my business, what's gonna move the needle, what is worth me doing myself, sitting down and doing it, spending the energy now, or hiring someone, delegating it, even if it's not perfect, because at least there's something in there, and then I can spend time doing it, right? But creating a CRM would really move the needle for us, would it not? Right.
There's also different clients that like, feel really good after talking to them, and other ones just drain. They just, like, I have a client that she will text me and say, call me now. Or just call me when I absolutely.
And it's
know
your,
I
what's your
will
heart
not.
rate do immediately?
I was like, oh my gosh,
Call
I'm
me
just gonna
now.
listen to her talk, tell me all of the things that are wrong with her life and why she's not ready yet, or why she, like, what she thinks she's ready for, but yet she hasn't given all the information to the lender to know fully, and it's a lot of, but then I feel bad because I know she's in a tough situation, so I wanna help, like, I have the.
You have the giving thing, and
Yeah.
I expect that probably what you're doing is that you're spending a lot of time with her, more time than you have to give to her, and then maybe you're a little resentful afterwards, and you feel more behind. Jen, Shannon, Clark, I think you guys are masters at this.
I'm really good at like, so when that call comes, or say I'm going to, we get invited to a lunch with a lender or something, and you know the homeboy is long of wind, and you're, I do not have 2 hours, so I come in, I'm like, oh, just a reminder, I have to leave in 45 minutes. I walk in the door and I tell them, or that phone call, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm between meetings, I got 5 minutes, what's up? Set it, a timer.
I got a timer, and then the timer goes off, and I go, oh, you know what, my invisible.
You have to
friend's
tell
calling.
them that your time matters, and
Yeah.
if they don't respect that, then they're not.
Cause she'll drink and try, and then you don't have it for the other 80% of the money.
But another problem that's gonna happen for Kathy is that if she just cuts them off, then her nature, her value system is not satisfied, and she feels frustrated, and she will double down and talk to them longer next time. So a suggestion that you can use, this is what experts suggest for your little scenarios. When you're talking to her, at the very beginning of the conversation, you say, I have X minutes. What's important to me is that I find out the top 3 things you want me to know, so that I make sure I address said things. And then you tell her, I'm taking notes for those things, and you say, what's the first thing? You guide the conversation. She describes what she's concerned about, and if there's a second thing, you ask her the second thing, write it down.
Or if they start rambling, you say,
Oh,
oh,
okay,
the
let's,
second thing to be
what,
on your.
exactly, you
and-
guide and
and you go to
direct.
the second.
Let's get to the second item. Okay, thank you. I only have a few more minutes. I want to make sure I get to that third item. Let's address that. I'm taking notes. Go ahead. That way, what you've done is you've addressed her needs, her wants. You satisfied what is your nature, your value system. You served your client, but you haven't wasted her time, your time, and you don't end the call feeling resentful.
You don't feel drained.
And you don't feel drained. Right? Yeah. Then what do you do when you have people that want to ramble
You
forever?
guys have all said all the others.
That's the
I set
time.
the stage and I stick to it. I just got a phone call right before I had a 10:45 on the dot phone call with my builder. And so I said, I have like 7 minutes. And they were right at that last minute. I had to interrupt him and say, hey, that call's coming through. And it really was, it wasn't mine. But remember, setting the stage made him go, oh, yeah, please, I'll talk to you. And so it wasn't a surprise to him when I was like, that call's coming in, I gotta go right now. So,
Yeah.
yeah, just set the stage.
I love that. And then you can wrap it up at the end too, so they feel heard, right? I do this with my coaching clients. I'll go through the list and I'll say, I want to make sure I got everything. I'll just sum it up. And then I'll set an expectation that I'm going to follow up with them by a certain time, right? So set the expectation for the phone call, how long you have, and then tell them they can get it done, right? And then you're being more efficient. And also you're training them. This is how I conduct my business. They'll have more respect for you and your time. Anything else somebody else there? That was a good one. So good. Okay, let's go. Is anybody really aware when they're powerful and energetic in a day?
Morning.
I'm super early, as anybody knows, I
Oh.
text them at 4:45 in the morning.
Really? Jamie, talk.
Who did we
Not-
have? Who was the
Girl.
guy that came in this Florida
buddy.
last week?
Oh, it was so cute.
What was the kid?
We all wanted to
Interesting
set
name.
him up. What was E's with an E?
Yeah.
Oh, it was.
Was it Edwin?
Eldon.
Eldon.
Talked, and I've been using it where you tell Chat GPT just listening and you're like, cause as soon as I wake up, my list starts
Yep.
in my brain. And I just I turn on chat, and I are dear friends, and I'm like, please help me organize these thoughts. And I'll be like rambling, I gotta go to the store, I gotta call this client, I gotta do this, and it's just, my brain starts like a ticker.
Yep.
And then at the end of it, it's like, help me write the top 10 things out of there I need to get done today.
Perfect.
And then it sits there. I shut it off. And then I go through a couple of things and then I come back, I swipe open chat and I'm like, 1, 2, 3, let's get it done, boom, done. And it's like,
Beautiful. So whatever your favorite chat, your AI of
Mhm.
choice is, you say favorite Claude. So instead of using paper in the morning, on Monday morning or every morning, you can just spit into it and you can create a folder so it understands what you're doing, right? You say, this is my morning brain dump. Here's all the thoughts I have, you dump it and then tell it, I want you to organize this into lists. Over time, he'll get trained,
He'll get
you know,
used to it.
yeah, and then you can create a checklist, right?
So I do 22-mile bike ride.
Okay.
And you'll stand exhausted, and then at the end, I call it exhausted, energized.
Yeah.
But I'm usually like, yeah, just fine, whatever, now just put your bike in the back of the truck and get done, and now I stop and I say, yeah, you go, girl.
Yes, that's.
Pat yourself that moment.
That's
Because
energized.
I just say, yeah, whatever, now just get on with the rest of your day, and
I love that.
Mhm.
I love that. By the raise of hands, does anybody know right off the bat, what would you say on that list? How many people do we have in here that would say they're definitely a morning person? People that would say more morning than evening? People that would say more evening than morning? Anybody definitely an evening person?
No.
Wow, we're all very similar. Next, so I just wanted you to know that when asked these questions, 85% people are usually right when they put themselves on the list. So chances are you're right. We go to the next screen.
You betcha.
She's another way you can do, find out for sure what your power hours are is you ask yourself, if I had no alarm clock and I could sleep as long as I wanted, what time would you naturally wake up? What time would you naturally go to bed? What time of the day do you feel most
7 a.m.,
energized?
7 days a week.
Do that. Next slide, please.
Wish mine was 7.
-4. -4. Yep.
Have any of you done your chronotype?
My what type?
Your chronotype.
No.
This is another cool thing. There's a lot of.
I'm a dolphin. It's fine. Everything's fine. Everything is fine.
Gonna do it.
So there's chronotypes and there's entire entrepreneurial systems based on your chronotype. If you're interested, you can look them up, they'll guide you. So bears are typically rise, according to the circadian rhythm. So they rise with the sun and they go to bed when the sun sets. That's when you check them. A lion, they're an early riser,
100%.
even if it's dark outside, so I assume that's you.
I am the early riser.
Wolf is a late riser. They like to sleep in no matter when the sun comes up. And a dolphin is erratic. They have trouble sleeping. They're erratic and they're just all over the place.
Yeah.
A dolphin here.
I'm a dolphin.
You're a dolphin.
Sure.
Dolphins are very common.
I like to wake up, but it just depends how she's. I think it's because of our moms.
Yes.
Because I used to, I like to wake up, but my husband does not like to go to bed at night, so it's really.
Our spouses impact ours.
Yeah, all the guys in my family are night owls. My husband's trying to have an in-depth conversation 11:30 at night. I'm like, oh, please.
I've trained.
And then
They
I
put
fall
me to
asleep
bed.
and then he feels hurt that I'm not listening.
Uh-huh. And he says, I'm a
And then I
genius
feel
at
guilty.
midnight.
You need to get a sleep mask with earbuds
I have-
and say,
I have sleep mask.
going
I
in.
have to because he's up till 3 in the morning. All the blessings are on site.
All right, so once you determined your power hours, right? If you're a morning person, determine when are my most powerful, energizing hours. This is when you do the green list, your most important, money-making, critical things. You do them in those power hours, okay? Does it make money? Does it move the needle? Is it focused? Do I have intention? And you need to make some hacks. You can gamify it, like I do. Or you can use your phone.
How do you gamify?
Gamify, I will do all kinds of things, like I'll say, if I get the following things done, that means, I'll give myself a title. or I give myself a prize, or I'll say, at the end of this, if I do this, I get to go get a Coke smoothie, or
Yeah.
like, I give myself little prizes by gamify it, right? You could put on, music, you can create a reward system, it really is based on what fuels and drives you, right? You could do like a
Oh,
sticker
study, no,
star
no, no,
system,
baby.
you could tell yourself you're gonna buy yourself a little treat, doesn't matter, just gamifying is very powerful. Or you can act from your power persona. I love to do this. Does anybody know their power persona? Who is their alter ego? Jen, does she have a name?
I don't have a name for it, I probably should.
Clark, does yours have a name?
No,
Nikki's does.
What's
Nikki's
yours,
yours.
Nikki?
What's yours?
Nikki's name is Sophia.
Oh,
And Sophia can, man, she can light the world on fire.
Oh.
And so if I'm struggling because I've got all this stuff, or I'm feeling tired, or I'm feeling insecure, or I'm feeling frustrated, or I'm feeling down, whatever it is, I say to myself, Sophia can always access all the energy she needs. She can access all the intellect she needs. She can access all the will she needs. She can access drive the drop of a pin, right? I use my power persona. I step into her and I let her drive me because she can do anything. She can access anything, right? So when I'm feeling away, I step into her. So you can use your power persona.
you have a power persona?
You sure do.
She does.
Sure do. Okay, next thing is talk about. Anybody have strategy for when they're focused on really intense things? Clark, which strategy? I really want to know yours.
so that is actually very similar. It's, I actually use a stopwatch.
Love it.
Because I've learned that it's in that 60 to 90 minutes that if you are absolutely focused and undistracted, you can get way more done. Every distraction takes you about 20 minutes to come back into that same focus.
Oh,
So if your phone, even if you don't look at it, if your phone is near you and buzzes,
yeah.
it eats at your head, and you're like, I wonder what that's about. Oh, I need to go.
I did.
So
that
it's almost like it needs to be in a separate room,
Oh.
not accessible, so you can't hear it, and you are just in monk mode
Long.
for 60 to 90 minutes, and you can get so much done because you're in that zone. And so notes on the door, don't disturb, whatever it is, and you can get 3 to 4 hours worth of work done, or that other people are doing
Right.
in that 1.5 hours.
Just.
Nick, all iPhones and Androids have what are called different focus modes that you can personally program. They have work focus, they have sleep focus, they have gym focus, they have, but you can driving focus, but you can personally turn on. So if you create a work focus that says, hey, when I put my phone in work focus mode, I can run certain apps in the background, but I do not want notifications for messages. I don't want notifications for phone calls. I don't want to be interrupted unless it's A, B, C, or D, like if it's an emergency, of course, but you can set a focus on your phone and then you can turn on your Audible in your earbuds or your music or your podcast or whatever you listen to, leave your phone in the other room, and then get to work and get busy. And you can still have whatever background noise you want from your phone, but then it's not going to be distracting you and it's not going to be pulling you away from what you need.
So let's talk about what we're all thinking right now, which is, what if I have someone call me on a real estate sign or a real estate emergency, right? How do we deal with those and focus? What's the solution?
I don't know, I come from schedules and lists and stuff like that. I was an elementary teacher for a long time, so I'm used to like habitual things, and I worked with other agents and stuff who were like I got a phone call, I'm gonna drive to Ogden right now and go show this house, and I was never that agent. I was like, I could do today at this time, tomorrow at that time, or this time, and I made those times up myself because of things I know I want to do. And I feel like I created a value that I'm not gonna do that to other people against you or you to them, like to show my client, like I have X amount of time and I wanna make sure I serve you, but these are the times I have. Because the people that I call the run and jumpers, they get burned out.
They get burned out.
Things fall through the crack because, oh, Jim needs me to open a door in Ogden right now. I forgot that I had to go to Spanish Fork for a walkthrough. Like, because they jumped and ran and then they don't look at their stuff, and it's like, I wanna be intentional to you, so these are the times that I have for you, cause these are the times I have for them. And people respected that, as they respect I shut my phone off at 8:30 PM.
Yep.
Because I don't wanna talk to you, and you don't wanna talk to me at 8:30,
Yeah.
it's not gonna be the best conversation.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be nice.
I assume that you kind of got the whole burnout thing nailed down. 'Cause to me, you seem like someone who is very even, structured, intentional. And you have your time where it's for play, you have your time where it's for work. And the times I've been around you where it's meetings or whatever it is, you are so efficient and intentional. I love that. And what is wrong with a world where we take 90 minutes to be intentional, to go into our power projects, right? What if there is a message on your phone that says, I'm with clients, I'm with important clients, I will get back to you as soon as I can because you're important to me too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And maybe you have a certain alarm on your phone if you have kids and you're worried about them calling from school. And there's an emergency one that can come through, you can hear it in the room. There's workarounds so that you're not constantly making excuses as to why you can't be focused. And like Shannon said, when you're intentional, when you're not just jumping to the hoops, meeting everyone where they're at in that minute, you're going to avoid burnout because everything is focused and intentional and on purpose.
I say I'm available from 8 AM to 8 PM, but from 8 PM to 8 AM is my family time. And you're more efficient professionally and
Right? So Clark, you do 90-minute walks basically?
Yep.
And then-
And I'll try to do 2 of those when I'm working on a big project. I'll try to do 2 of those in the same day
Love it.
with that
2
15
90-minute blocks.
Yeah.
Really?
with that 15 or 20-minute break.
What do you do on your break?
String cheese.
I'll,
Swirling.
sometimes I'll take a nap, sometimes I'll walk around.
You
If
can
it's-
take a nap in the middle of the day.
I have a
I'm so
bed
good
in
at
my
that.
office, yeah.
Some people love naps. We had this discussion in Mexico.
Call
Shannon
this
is a
siesta.
power napper. Evie is like, don't even talk about naps. They
Yeah.
don't work for me. I don't
Yeah.
like
We're
naps.
still friends. I'm
Oh,
a napper.
and
So
now-
you have to find what is your thing? What is your thing that
My husband's
rejuvenates
a
you,
napper.
right?
If it's been cool outside and now it's sunny, then I'll go sit out on the patio furniture at my office and just close my eyes and stare at with my face to the sun and get warmed up.
For 2 years, my husband would take a nap, on his mission and then hammock for 2 hours every day.
I support that.
Between noon and 2, and I can tell he still wants to do that.
So here's the goal. In that 15 to 20-minute break, it must be intentional. It must be about re-energizing, taking your system to a parasympathetic, to an energy state that is healthy for you. No phone or computer in that 15 to 20 minutes.
Wow.
Then if you want to go into another 90-minute block, you schedule a free time for your phone and your computer to check emails, return phone calls, texts, right? Give yourself an allotted amount of time to do that. And then you can start your next 90-minute block. But in this 15 to 20-minute, do not do social media. Do not check your texts. Do not check your phone. It has to be intentional. The science is really strong for you guys. And when we look at these things, I know that a lot of us go, okay, but I'm like, I want to go to the next level. I want to be like, I want to be like a billionaire. I want to be this person. The people who are running the world, the Illuminati and the billionaires, they do these things. They're not running an inefficient system. They're using every hack they can to work as little energy as possible.
And by comparison, those 2 90-minute blocks are typically more than most
People probably.
hourly workers will do.
In an 8-hour day.
In 8 to 10 hours.
100.
To your focus.
Have you guys read the 4-hour work day and the 4-day work week? It's all complicated on that. Okay, next slide, please. All right, so anything on your green list or in your chat GPT when he tells you these are your power plays, your money makers, do more power hours. The yellow, only do if you have the time and the energy. Those are your mundane, your tasks, right, before you delegate them. If it doesn't make you money, if you're doing it out of guilt, what's something we do out of guilt? Just name something that's on your list that you do out of guilt, but it doesn't make you money and it's not necessary.
Cookie.
100, For me, that's one. For me, it's funny because Audrey asked me yesterday, no, she asked me, Gavin and I went to her house on Sunday for her daughter's graduation party. And they got talking about cooking. They're like, who cooks in your house? What do you guys do for dinner? And we're like, oh, we do our own thing. Gavin comes home, he cooks his own meal, does his own thing on his own time. Nikki wants to eat, Nikki cooks her own thing on her own time. And I have a system where what I eat, it's fast, it's healthy, it's nutritious, but I don't spend time cooking because I don't have the time to cook. For me, it doesn't go on the thing. For me, it doesn't make that less. So I don't cook. Yeah. What's something else you do out of guilt?
Go to social obligations. I mean, I get invited to so many.
Where's that popular?
I mean,
Sorry, they're obsessed with me.
Shannon, how do you decide? How do you
I get invited nowhere, that's weird.
Like, stop, being nice, stop making friends, stop letting people hug you everywhere we go. He's like, I'm so sick of hearing.
So I really have to break it down to, like, I've targeted, like, for Women's Council for me, that I'm doing a 3-year run to be president in 2 years. So I'm treasurer, I'll be president of life, and then I'll be president of the Salt Lake Board. So it's like, that is where I've now put my focus, and if that's the first spot that I'll give up, or the last spot I'll give up, but it's the first thing. If it's something feeding into that, I'll do it. And then it'll trickle down. Is it something for just my branch that will help either bring vendors in for events, stuff like that? And then from there, it's like, do I have time left? And then that's a yes or no situation, so.
And I don't wanna break any confidences about like other people's, what their list is, but if someone wants to speak up about, there's a list. It does it, da-da, does it, da-da, does it, da-da. If it does it, you don't, da-da.
I can.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
It has to meet your requirements, and if it doesn't, you don't do it. And that list can be whatever you want, but get very intentional and aware of what is that list for you.
Like, I remember Jen talking about one time, she's like, I don't have time to go to lunch with these people. She's like, my schedule is what my schedule is, but they can come here and talk with
If
you,
you
like.
think about a lunch hour in the middle of your day.
Yeah.
It's usually an hour, plus the drive time, so
Yep.
it's usually about an hour and a half.
And usually it goes over.
Out of your 8-hour workday, and to me, the math doesn't math.
Doesn't matter.
When you have an hour and a half for a friggin' lunch, that all they wanna do is sell you one thing. No, will you send me more business? So just come to my office, I'll give you 15 minutes, tell me what you sell, tell me what you know, and that's it. Yeah.
So think about that. If your power persona just does that one thing for you, where they're like, I'm the entrepreneur, I'm the badass billionaire you want to be.
Mhm.
If you can't do this, I'll show up and do it for you. And ask the people, if you'd like my time, you're welcome to come here. I have 15 minutes at this time for you.
Yeah.
Right? Take charge, stop just giving into and like pandering to things that don't build your life.
Well, it seems so flattering when someone wants to take you to lunch or go to
Sure.
a pedicure or something, and you're like, what? Just put it into my work day.
So don't let the guilt of
Yeah.
like, this person's being nice, they're offering so
Totally.
bad.
And I
No.
really do need lunch or a pedicure, I mean, let's be
Yeah.
honest, but it's.
Not in the middle of my work day, I do not pedicures on Fridays.
There you go.
And she can eat on Sunday.
It's fine, just that one day.
I'll just eat and do pedicures, manicures on Sunday.
Let's talk quick hacks. These are just a small list. You guys know this. You guys can come up with a list of a million things, I think. But there's a lot of science that contributes to the idea of gentle waking. So instead of like hopping out of bed, right? Some people do better with gentle waking. So it's up to the person, but that's an idea. Sun on the eyeballs. It's very, very important to actually take your sunglasses off and let your eyes see the sunlight. It does so many amazing things for your entire system.
But not the sun. I know.
Yeah, don't stare directly into the sun, please.
You're supposed to hear it stuff for seconds. It's a new science.
It is.
Yeah,
Oh,
just a couple seconds, not 5 minutes.
The eclipse, not for minutes, but you do need to let your eyeballs get direct sunlight for at least 15 seconds.
Fine.
Face and ice water, does anybody know the studies on the?
I don't know the studies, but I love it. It's like,
Yeah.
when I'm
You
feeling
can-
overwhelmed and like that noise is just like spiraling, it's like cold, I put it like a washcloth thing and just stick it straight on my face and breathe. And then it's like, it slows down.
I just take ice
Slows it down.
floss and rub them all over.
Yeah.
It's in the shower or whatever.
It will take your system, it'll take your sympathetic, it'll even out your system, it also increases your immunity. It increases cognitive health,
It helps with inflammation.
it helps with inflammation, big
Big one,
time.
this frozen water, I get stressed out, just hold it.
Beautiful.
Even running your hands under it.
Just like this, just calm down, and like in the summer, it's like.
If you wanna really geek out, look up the studies on the divers who dive in cold water and what evolution has done to those tribes that do that.
Have any of you guys tried cold plunging?
I cold plunge every morning.
Yeah, it's the greatest thing ever.
Every morning.
I do cryotherapy. I don't cold plunge, but I do cryo, so it's basically the same thing.
For women, it's different. For men, it's 50. For women, they just come through studies. It should not be below 55. 55 is the lowest.
Really?
And our systems are different. Yep. And we don't need to be in it for long. Men need to be in there longer.
Yeah, my cold plunge is the hot tub at 102,
There
the
you go.
cold version of the.
111.
It's dry heat and steam is actually more beneficial. So you want to do less cold plunging or heat. Breath work. Who practices breath work? Beautiful. If you haven't done one of Louis Hamner sessions, I highly suggest it. And if you want to just take a little minute in the day to either do a box breath or the 4-7-8. This will take you that where your body needs to be. Who likes to have fun for freak's sake?
What's the force that I'm not going to be saying?
Breathe in for 4, count 4. Hold for 7. Breathe out for 8. In for 4.
Oh, I heard
Hold
four,
for 7. Out for
I
2.
heard 4.
Box is the even count.
It's the 4-4.
Yeah, the 4, that's what I.
They do different things to your blood pressure. This is your last summer. What if I told you that? What if I told you this is the last summer you get to live?
I'd be really mad.
If it's the last summer you live, Olivia, what do you want this summer to be? What if you don't want to just throw caution to the wind and say, it's my last summer, I don't have to make money, I don't have to pay rent next year or mortgage, right? No, it's about, I still want to become that person. I still want to reach all my goals.
I'd try salad.
But I want to freaking live my life, enjoy my life in the moment. Seriously. All right, get out your boards, please. Oh, let's see if there's one more slide, Jess, sorry.
Nope, you're good. I don't think there's another one, Nick. Okay.
On your board, you get to write at the very top, if you're a morning person, afternoon person, evening, or you can draw a picture of your animal if you want. You can draw a picture of a dolphin or a bear or a wolf or a lion. Just so that we know which one we go when your power hour is.
What's the dolphin?
The dolphin is, you have a hard time sleeping.
I'll sleep in 60 seconds.
Lions.
What did you say to write? Because we weren't listening.
I couldn't get my lid off, so I was very distracted.
Yeah. Okay, so at the top of your board, you can just write morning, afternoon, night person, or you can draw a picture of your chronograph. If you're a bear, you get up and you go to bed when the sun rises and sets. If you're
Or
a
your grizzly
lion,
bear, you're hibernating.
you love an early start and an early night, mornings or your general. Wolf, trouble waking in the morning, only gets going at night. And dolphin,
Mine's a
they
sun.
struggle to sleep, stay asleep.
wolf.
They always feel tired.
A wolf.
Oh.
What if she's a wolf and
What's
a
a
lion?
Lion,
Yeah,
dolphins, like
but
the
you
one
drop
that wants
and
to be
tap
a bear.
a wolf.
Wants to be a bear, she's a bear wannabe. He lives with a grizzly bear who hibernates.
What if you're a bear and lion?
I wake up.
I know some of those.
I do.
In the middle of your paper, write what your goal is for your business by the end of this year. And you can keep it vague and crypt just so that you know what it is, or you can be totally open to the classroom. You
write your goal for the end of the year.
What are your goals? Third, the very bottom. I want you to write down, as this is your last summer, what's the one thing you want to do? This is important. Don't think about money, don't think about anything else. Just like, what is it you want to do, experience, feel this summer? Your last summer.
I mean, this is a little extreme, but. That's about it.
yacht to sail around the world.
I'm gonna sell everything.
Oh, yeah, that's what I would do.
Peace out.
Kathy, can you come over onto this side? And I'll ask you to sit here over here. So you guys kind of bunch up some more props from these ladies out there.
Wait, so
That's
that's
what
what
I'm
I'm writing.
But that I'll sell everything.
So we take my board.
What?
That's what I was doing. Yeah, we put together for her.
And what you want
You
to
guys take care of each other.
I'll be on the wood.
We're going to an island.
You do that. There's what's there.
Oh.
My board is my gun.
When I sell it.
Bring your gun. It's all in here. That's a neat and mosquito that instead. Bye, Kathy. See you later.
Got them 7.
You can speak. Bring it. Thanks, girl.